trucks for you. The first one we're going to be looking at is the 2014 Ford F-150 XLT with the 3.5-liter V6 engine EcoBoost. The truck we're going to be comparing it against is, of course, you've got it, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year for 2013 as well as 2014, the Ram 1500 3.6-liter Pentastar engine. Today we're going to take a couple of looks at some differences and everything between the F-150 as well as the 1500. To start with, I want to point out one major fact. In the 1500s, you have the frame of the truck is built with high strength steel, and it's actually a boxed frame. It's not a C-channel frame, which is going to provide that rigidity that you need in the truck to do the work that you need it to do, but it's also going to provide you that comfort. Now what I want you to do is I'm going to open and shut this door. As I open and shut it, I want you to see if you see any kind of shake in the truck. And that was closing it pretty hard. Okay, pretty solid doors. The frame and everything is going to go into that. Now let's go over to the F-150 and see what we've got. Now here we are with your F-150. As I said before, the frame of this vehicle is made with a C-channel, which gives it some openings inside, so you're going to have a little bit more flexibility, but the truck isn't going to stand up over the test of time. And to point that out, I want you to watch down the sideline of the truck as I shut this door and watch for that wiggle. The door sounds a little hollower. It's hard to open, and then it gets you that wiggle when you shut the door. That's going to be because of your frame and everything on the truck. Alright guys, on your 1500, I want to just point out you have some standard options that don't come equipped like that on the F-150. Some of those items are going to include your 20-inch tires and wheels that come standard on the 1500s. Alright, and as you'll notice, the wheels on this F-150 do happen to be the 20-inch wheels. However, that's not a standard item. What comes standard on your F-150s is going to be your 18-inch wheels and tires. Another point, one of your safety features. On your 1500, you're going to have light that emanates from this light post on the mirror. It's going to shine down, give you a view whenever you open the door, so at nighttime you can see what you're getting into. On your mirror, you notice you do have some reflectors, which is good, and your blinker will show from the front side of the mirror. However, you'll notice there is no lighting to go down whenever you are opening up that door. It's not going to provide you any type of light to get in, and that is a safety feature. Here at the 1500, just to open up, first of all, in the 1500 you can see the luxurious trim in the interior of the vehicle. It doesn't look so much like a work truck, it looks like a luxury vehicle inside. Also, you'll notice here on the door in the Lone Star package, you do have the electric folding mirrors, so the power folding mirrors, as well as your mirror controls right here on your door handle. As you can see, we're on the driver's side of the F-150. Point out a couple of items here. One item that the 1500 has as an advantage over the F-150, you have manual mirrors, and then also, in order to adjust your mirrors, you're going to have to use the joystick. Whereas on the Ram 1500, it's going to be more on the door frame. You're not having to toggle with the stick up top. And that could also break much quicker. The 1500 also has a 10-way power driver's seat. You can move the seat forward, you can move the seat back, recline with this button. You can also lower the seat and raise the seat with this. This right here is your lumbar adjust. It's an electric button. You touch it, it's going to adjust your lumbar for you. Pointing out some items in the seat, here with the F-150, you have a six-way driver seat. However, in order to be able to adjust your lumbar or to recline or the back of the seat, it's a manual motion. You have to utilize this to adjust your lumbar and here for your reclining seat. This is the only area that's electric. In the Ram 1500, as you can see, you've got everything on the dash here is kind of spaced out for you to be able to see. It's a little easier to navigate on the dash. You have your menu options here on the side and your menu changes, but it keeps all of your previous information on the screen. Whereas in the F-150, you don't have that option. You cannot see multiple items at the same time. Here in the middle, you've got all of your media is right here, and of course, as you'll notice, you do have a touch screen radio. Everything is via touch. And then also regarding your media devices are in the middle console, covered and protected, so that whenever you do choose to listen to your USB with music on it, you plug it in and immediately your music shows on your radio. You have direct access to it. You can go into all of your different tracks, information, and you can also browse like you would on the computer through your music, through all your different files. The interface of the F-150 just doesn't seem as user-friendly as it would in the Ram. You have a lot of different options, a lot of different places you have to go. It's a little busy, but it's also very industrial-like, more like a work truck would be. Everything's very centered. You've got your USB port here as well as your auxiliary port. The USB port doesn't actually play music through your sound system if you have a USB with music downloaded onto it, like this one here. You plug it in and nothing occurs. You're not real sure where to go next or how to get to that. Here in the F-150, you do have a center seat. You'll have a center console here below, but here's the problem. As I go to reach across the center seat to try to find that lever and pull this seat down, it's hurting my wrist to have to reach in that direction, and the seat is quite heavy, as you can hear. You've got a lot of space here that could have been utilized a little bit differently, and then here's your storage compartment in your front console. One other item I'd like to point out is in the Ram 1500, you're going to have an automatic dimming mirror. So you'll notice you have a sensor right here in the mirror that's going to automatically dim at any time it notices there are lights approaching your vehicle that are too bright. The F-150 does not have that. You'll also notice on our mirror, you'll have the microphone slots for your Bluetooth as well as for your voice recognition. And then you also have the 911 and the assist button here, which actually make phone calls through the vehicle itself. You do not have to have a phone paired to the vehicle in order to be able to make those phone calls. So in the case of an emergency, you don't have your phone with you or you don't know where it's at, all you do is reach up, hit that button, and it's going to call 911 immediately. As you saw in the Ram 1500, you do have your back AC for anybody in your back seat. I'd like to point out in the F-150 there are no rear AC controls. There's no AC that comes out on the floorboard underneath the seats, so for any flow vents, you have no AC in the back. Alright, one of the other facts that we've got for you is on the Ram 1500s, you're going to have a standard tow hitch on all of your trucks. It's not an optional piece of equipment. Your tow hitch is going to be right down here below your bumper, but you're also going to have your 4 and 7 pin connectors right up top on the back of the bumper beside your license plate. This protects them from any elements from being down below. It keeps them in a safe spot for all of your wiring harness needs. As well, I'd like to point out the 3.6 liter V6 engine will tow up to 7,300 pounds when it's properly equipped, and then the V8 will tow up to 10,000 pounds properly equipped. Alright, on the F-150, this truck does come with an equipped tow hitch, even though it is an optional item. However, I would like to point out the location of your 4 and 7 pin harnesses. They're actually going to be underneath the truck, next to the hitch, which creates a lot more ability for you to have issues with those. Alright everybody, what we've done, we've went ahead and put the trucks on the rack so we can take a look underneath at the body and the frame of the vehicle. I'm going to start with the rear suspension. If you'll take a look here, on both sides you have your coil spring suspension. What that's going to do and what that adds to in your ride, it's going to give you much more comfortable ride when you have no load in the back. You're going to have it's going to feel more like a car than it will a truck as you're driving down the road. So it adds to your comfort by having those. And also with the coil springs, you don't lose any of your towing capacity, and you definitely don't lose any of your payload capacity. Another item I'd like to point out, you'll see the frame on the vehicle, as I mentioned earlier. High strength steel is used in making of it, and it's also a water forged frame. So that you'll notice there's only a couple of weld spots where the frame has been put together. The rest of it has been forged, so you'll see a large area where it's one frame that was forged in water to make sure that it had the same amount of strength all the way around the entire box. Also, you'll notice in the wheel well, you have some coverage there. What that actually does, this is going to protect you from a lot of your noise in the interior of the vehicle. And what it does as well is it protects some of those components that are sitting behind that wheel well. Here at the F-150, you'll find the wheel well. It's open. You have easy access to anything behind it. There's no protection from any elements. You'll also notice on the back side you have your leaf springs for your suspension or your leaf suspension instead of your coil spring suspension. What that's going to do is, if you don't have anything in the bed of the truck, as you're driving down the road, that's not going to provide you that much comfort. You're still going to be bouncy. And then also you'll notice, even though Ford does have the box frame, you notice there's a weld line that goes down the entire length of the frame, which allows for there to be not as much strength in certain spots when it's welded together.